Hey guys, welcome back to Tailgate Theology. My name is Brandon, and today I want to ask you, do you know the most important word that we learn at seminary? There's one word that is more important than all the rest. That's all I'll say. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a second to guess while I sip on my yerba mate. Okay, the most important word in seminary. Did you guess God? Did you guess righteousness? Maybe justification? Maybe even the name of Christ himself, Jesus? All important? The most important, though, is the word gospel. What is the word gospel? Well, the etymology of the word gospel, it comes from Old English, actually, and it is a contraction of the word good spell. Later on, the good would be shortened to God. God, spell, gospel. Spell means story, or at least it used to mean story. And so to tell someone a good spell is to tell them a story. So gospel comes from Old English. The Greek word is actually, and excuse my pronunciation, I'm still working on it, but the Greek word for gospel is actually evangelion. It's way closer to the English word of evangelical or to evangelize. So let's just take a moment and think about the word gospel. What does that actually mean? First and foremost, I would just offer that the gospel is primarily a message. That's primarily what it is. A message between two people. Can be really anything. If I tell my dad it's raining, that's a message. If someone in the passenger seat of my truck tells me to slow down, that is a message from point A to point B. Similarly, the gospel essentially is a message. So that's important for us to consider, and I just want you to let that sit for a moment. The gospel is essentially a message. It's a message. So it's not a set of rules. It's not an action you do. The gospel isn't something that I can hold in my hand. It's not something that a specific church owns. A certain pastor or pastors, they don't own the gospel. The gospel is a message. You can't put it in a briefcase and take it with you somewhere. Okay, so it is a message. Just let that sink in. I would encourage you, meditate on what that means later on. But I think it's important to establish the gospel is a message. Now, let's take step number 2 and think about, okay, what is the content within that message? So if the gospel is a message, now let's think about what is the content of that message. So very simply put, the gospel is the message that says that Jesus Christ came, lived, died, and rose again for sinners. So John 3:16, 2 Corinthians 5:21, God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Those are verses. Those are summary statements of the content of the gospel. But a helpful way that I think about it is in terms of economics, supply and demand. God has grace, and that is something we need. So supply, demand. God has plenty of grace to give and to offer. We are the ones that are in demand of that grace, and God provides it willingly, lovingly, mercifully through his son Jesus Christ. So that's just one way to think about the gospel. I hope this was helpful. I've got a few more ideas and a few more videos that I want to follow up on, especially as it relates to the gospel. I've got basically a notebook full of ideas, so I'm going to continue to make these videos here at Tailgate Theology. Anyway, I'm about to go to church. It's a very foggy day here in Baton Rouge. Hope y'all are doing well. All right, bye.